Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, I have already shown you how to design this user control that is nothing but add user and how to connect the user control with this button. So if you have not watched my previous video, then just go to description. There I put the link from my previous video, or you can simply do one thing, just click on the suggestion on the right edge of the screen. Okay, so in this video, first I'm going to show you which table you have to create and how to actually save the data into the database and how to reset this data. Okay, so let's start with that. First I'm going to close this application, and after this what I have to do, the first stuff is nothing but move to this add user control. So here we go. So this one is add user control. First thing what I have to do is I have to actually change the name of these controls. So what name I'm going to name these all? So first this one, change the name, the design name. So search for design name. If you can't able to search this one, this part, so what you have to do is just right click on this and go to properties, and there you have to search for name. Here you can see this. I'm going to change this one to txt user role. After that, the second one, this one, change the name for this one to txt name. Hit enter. In the same way you have to do for the remaining. So select this one, change the name to txt.dob. It's a datetime picker, but again I'm going to name this one txt. This one to txt mobile number. This one to txt email id or just email. This one to txt user name. This one to txt password. Okay, and next thing we have two buttons, so we have to change these two button name as well. So change this one to btn sign up and this one to btn reset. After this, what we have to do is, before coding anything further, what we have to do is we have to actually create a table in which these data are going to be stored. So for that you have to just move back to the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, and here by default when you open this, a pop-up like this will open on your screen like this one. You have to just click on this connect, and after that what you have to do is you have to just select, here you can see the by default, let me just show you, this master is selected over here. So you have to just write this line, create database, and database name is pharmacy, PHARMACY, and you have to just click on, by selecting these like this one, you have to just click on this execute. When you do that, you have to just click on this one, refresh, and after that you can find pharmacy over here. So select pharmacy, and after that what you have to do is you have to just write this, create table users. The table name is users, and the first column is nothing but ID. The name is ID, and it's of int type and identity 1,1. It means that it will be automatically incremented each time whenever new data is inserted. It means that we don't need to insert any data inside this column. This is a primary key. Okay, after this we have user role. So make sure R is capital, so write in this, otherwise you will face issue in further videos while copying the same code. Okay, so varchar 50, and it's not null. It means that you cannot leave this one null. Name is varchar 250, not null. DOB varchar 250, not null. Mobile big int, not null. It's an integer type, so you can only insert the integer type. Here I haven't taken the int because int cannot handle the 10-digit number, that's why big int. After this we have email, and it's also a varchar and size is 250, not null. Username is varchar 250 unique. It means that username needs to be different each time. If you try to insert, if I have btechdays already in my database and you try to again insert btechdays, then it's going to throw an exception, SQL exception. So you have to check that this should not happen. After this we have pass, that is also a varchar type and size is 250, and it's not null. After writing these line of code, what you have to do is just select like this, and you have to just click on execute. Make sure this pharmacy is selected over here. After this, try to execute this one. Select a star from users. When you execute this, you will find only these column name over here. If this shown, it means that everything is working fine. After this, what we have to do is we have to just move back to our project. So our project is this one, and here first thing what you have to do is you have to just, let me just minimize this, move to Solution Explorer, click on the project name, right click on this, click on, oh sorry, I've clicked on something else. So you have to just right click on this. Okay, let me close this. Right click on this, click on add, and you have to just select a class. Here you can see this one is class. In this class, I'm going to name this class function, because whatever function needed to connect to the database, I'm going to write inside this one. So function, I'm going to name this one function and click on add, and this will add a new function class. Here you can see this, the function.cs is added and class is function. Inside this one, first method I'm going to write to make a database connection. So my class name will be get connection, and this one is of protected type, so protected, and it's SQL connection. It's going to actually return SQL connection type object. That's why its return type is SQL connection. Like this. Here you can see this one is showing an error because we haven't imported the libraries which is going to be utilized while using this SQL connection. So the library is using system.data.sql client. Well, like pick all this. Here you can see this one is added over here. Okay, after this, here you can see this, the error is resolved, and after this you have to just name this method. So I'm going to name this one get connection. After this, what we have to do is, here you can see this one is get connection. So it's showing an error because it's expecting a SQL connection object, but we haven't returned anything for now. That's why it's showing an error. This error will be automatically resolved. Okay, so first thing we have to create a SQL connection object. So SQL connection con is equal to new SQL connection, like this. After this, we have to just write the connection string. So con dot connection string is equal to, like this. You have to mention data first. Thing is nothing but data source, and data source, from where you get this, you have to just move back over here. You have to just click on this, click on connect object explorer, and you have to just copy the server name of your computer. Don't copy this, don't write this one. This one is from my system. So guys, if you still don't have subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon, and please share with your friends. And if you need any help, then contact me on Instagram, or if you want to purchase the source code, you can simply contact me on Instagram. It's a trusted channel, and as soon as we resolve the issues as well. Okay, so you have to just write the server name over here, and you have to just add a slash over here, like this. Single slash always shows an error, so you have to add one more backward slash. After this, what you have to do is you have to just mention the database name. So our database, you have to mention database, and database name is pharmacy. So you must be worried about that, from where this pharmacy is coming. So pharmacy is nothing but this one, our database name. Okay. After this, what we have to mention is nothing but integrated security. Integrated security is equal to nothing but true. You have to just write this one. Okay. After this, now our connection string is completed. Nothing needs to be written except this. Okay. After this, what we have to do, let me just make this one full screen so that everything is clearly visible. Here you can see this, everything is visible. After this, we have to just return the connection object. So return nothing but con. When you write like this, here you can see this, the error is now resolved. Okay, make sure every spelling is mistake. You don't make, sorry, every spelling is correct. You don't make any mistakes over here. Data source, server name, after that database is pharmacy, integrated security is equal to true. After this, now our connection is ready. Whenever we call this method is going to return a SQL connection object. So next thing what we have to do is we have to actually create a connection. We have to actually create a method that is nothing but get data method. So public, and this is going to actually return a data set object. So data set. Okay, so it's showing an error. So what you have to do is just click on this and click on this one using system.data. If you can't able to do like this, then you can manually write it over here like this. When I write like this, here you can see this, the error resolved. And what you have to do is you have to just write get data. I'm to name this method get data. Okay, so this method is going to actually return some data. It's a data set it's going to return. It means that whenever this method is called, it's actually expect one argument, and that is nothing but of string type, and I'm going to name this one query. If you are worried that what is going on right now, so not to worry about this, let me just write these two methods and I'm going to explain each of the stuff in very detail. Okay, so this method I'm going to write to actually fetch the data from the database. Okay, so first thing what you have to do is you have to just make a SQL connection. So we have already did a SQL connection, we have connected already. So what we have to do is just get that connection. So SQL connection and con is equal to get connection. When you write like this, now we have a connection in this con object. After this, what we have to do is we have to make a SQL command object. So cmd is equal to new SQL command object. So now our SQL command object is ready. Now what we have to do is we have to pass the connection into this command. So cmd dot connection is equal to con. After this, what we have to do is we have to just write, we have to fire this query. So whatever query, like select a star from the table name. So you have to just, suppose someone has passed select a star from users is our table name. So where this query is going to be fired. So I'm going to tell you where exactly where. So cmd dot command text is equal to nothing but query. When you write like this, now our query is passed inside this command. After this, what we have to do is we have to just create a data adapter object. So SQL data adapter DA is equal to new SQL data adapter, and inside this data adapter we have to pass the command. So cmd like this. After this, what we have to do is we have to make a data set object. So data set ds is equal to new data set. After this, data set ds is equal to new data set. We have to just write da.fill, and what we want to fill with this data adapter, we have to fill this ds, that is nothing but data set. So ds. When you write like this, now this query will be fired into the database with the help of this connection, and after that the data which is being fetched will be filled inside this data set. Next thing what we have to do is just return this data set object. So here what we have did is, first we have created a get a SQL connection from this method. After this, we have created a SQL command object and then passed the connection into this command object. Then we passed the query inside this one, and finally we have executed after creating a SQL data adapter object, and finally we have created a data set object over here, and we have filled that data set object with the data which is being fetched from the database, and finally that data set is being returned by this method. Okay, so whenever we call this method, that is get data, with a string with a SQL query, then that query will be fired onto the database and the data which is fetched will be returned in the data set. Okay, so now I'm clear with this method. After this, next method is nothing but we have to write a method to set the data. So what you have to do is we have to just write public void. This method is not going to return, it's going to simply set the data. So set data, and this is going to accept two arguments. So string, first is query and the second one is message, whatever you want to show. Like suppose if the registration is successful, then you want to show some message. So the second one is this one. The message will be passed whenever this set data method is called. After this, first thing as usual, we have to make get a SQL connection. So SQL connection con is equal to get connection. After this, we have to create a SQL command object. cmd is equal to new SQL command. After this, we have to just open the, so we have to pass the connection is equal to con. Okay. After this, we have to open the connection with the database. So con dot open. Now our connection, the database's connection is open. After this, we have to just pass the command text. So command text is equal to nothing but query. After passing the query, we have to just execute that query into the database. So we have to just write like this, execute non-query, because we don't want to, because whenever the query will be fired, nothing is going to return. That's why just execute non-query. After this, what we have to do is we have to just, our execution is done. It means that like insertion operation is done over here when we call this one, execute non-query method over the CMD. After this, our task is done. So next thing what we have to do is we have to close the connection which we have opened. So you have to write like this. Now this method task is done. One more thing what we want to do is we want to show the message to the user. So for that we have to just mention like this, message box, and we can't able to see this because we haven't imported the proper library. Using system.windows.form, you have to just mention this on the top. Let me just show you this one. After this, what we have to do is, here you see this, now this one is error is resolved dot show, and write like this. Now here you can see this, nothing error is over here. In this message, whatever we want to show, we have to just pass that. So first thing what we have to show is message. This message, I want to show this. After message, what I have to do is I have to just name that message box. I just want to give some name to that message box. So the message box will be information, and this message box needs to have some button. So this needs only one button, so OK. And this needs to have some icon, so message box icon dot information, like this. And now our method is ready. So I hope you understand this. First created the connection object, get the connection object. After that created a cmd command object, and after that pass the connection to the cmd, open the connection, pass the query, execute the query, close the connection, and finally show the message. So now our task for this function class is done. Next thing what I have to do is I have to just write, so let me just move back over here, and so our function class task is done, and move back over here. So first thing what I want is when I click on the sign up button, I want to extract the values from these all text boxes and save that into the database. For that, just double click on this button. So PDN sign up click event is generated over here. So first thing what we have to do is we have to make a function class object, because I'm going to use those methods which we have created right now in the function class. So function fn is equal to new function, like this. Now function class function object is now created, and with the help of this fn, that is a function object, we can access these methods, that is nothing but get data and set data, because these are public. Okay, so next thing I want a variable of a string type to write the query. So I'm going to name this one query. So now you have to write these two for now. After this, move back to this sign up click event, and here first thing what I have to do is I have to just extract the values from all the text boxes and all the combo box and date time picker. So what I have to do is just write a string, and the first one is role, so that's of a string type, that's why I've taken a string type variable. So string role txt user name, user role, actually user role dot text, and from that text box I need only text. After this we have name, so string name is equal to txt name dot text. After this we need dob is equal to txt dob dot text. I know that's the data and picker, but still I have given that name dob. so it's going to fetch that data according to that. Okay, after this we have mobile. So mobile number in the database I have shown you that's of big int type. So what we have to do is we have to just write that into a big int type, or we have to convert that into integer type. So int 64, and this one is nothing but mobile is equal to, and we have to convert this string to integer, so int 64 dot parse, and inside this one we have to just call the method, call the username, call the name of that text box, txt mobile number dot text. When you write like this, parse method is used to convert the type conversion actually. Okay, after this we have email ID, so string email is equal to txt email dot text. After this we have username is equal to txt username dot text. After this we have password, txt password dot text. So now every data is now fetched into these variables. So let me check these, if these variables are working. How to check these? So what you have to do is just add a breakpoint over here, and when you do like this, now a breakpoint over here is added. Now all the values still username will be visible. Okay, so how to do that? For that, just add a breakpoint, just start this, and now our project is started. It's taking a little bit of time. Okay, so here we go. So my username is btechdays. It's hard coded, so not to worry about that. Sign in, add dashboard, select administrator, name btech something, mobile number, email ID, you can write anything. Sign up, and when you click on that, we move over here. Our program is stopped over here on this breakpoint, and when you hover over this one, you can see administrator on this one, btech, DOB Sunday 25 of October 2020, mobile number is 123456, email ID something like this. Yeah, so this one is working fine. Now but data is being fetched from the all the text boxes and can be shown inside these labels. After this, what we have to do is we have to just write the query, and the query will be obviously written inside the try catch block, because whenever any issue occur, this try catch block can handle that. So try, and we have to just write the query first. So query, and what query we have to just fire, the insert query we have to, this try is showing an error because the catch is not mentioned yet. Exception, any type of exception this one can handle. Okay, so here you can see this. Now the red underline is now removed. So let me make this one full screen. After this, what I have to do is just write insert query. So insert into, and the table name is users, and we have to mention the column names. So let me just copy the column name from the database. So move back over here, and our column name is user role name, DOB, mobile, email, username, and pass. Here you can see this. You have to just add comma. Just copy this. You have to manually write this. Just pause the video and write this one, where you have to write this one inside this, like this. After this, what we have to do is we have to write values. Just use the same sequence. You cannot change this, interchange the place, values. And after this, we have to write like this: single, double, plus plus, double, single. Let me just put an extra space. First full screen. like this, comma, and after this we have to just first mention role, because we have first column is for user role and we have role over here. After role we have name, and that's also string, so double quotes, sorry, single quotes, double quotes, plus plus, double quotes and single quotes, and here you have to mention name. After this we have to mention DOB, so that's also single, double, plus plus, double, single, and we have to mention DOB over here. After DOB we have mobile, and that's of integer type, so we don't have to mention the single quote, just double, double, and 2 plus sign between name, and we have to just mention mobile. After this we have email ID, so that's also string type, so single, double, plus plus, double, single, and inside this one we have to mention email. After email we have username, so single, double, plus plus, double, single, and we have to mention email, sorry, after email we have username, and after username we have password, so single, double, plus plus, double, single, and we have to mention pass over here like this. And now finally close the bracket and delete these spaces. So here you can see this. Now our task is done. Now our query is ready, and next thing what we have to do is we have to just fire this query, and we have to just pass that query into that set data method. So fn dot set data, here you can see this, we can fetch this. After this what we have to do is we have to pass the query, and we have to pass one message as I have told you earlier. So I'm going to pass sign up successful like this, and after this we need to do this one. Whenever any exception occur, I want to show some message. So message box dot show username already exist. It means that if you try to write something, the name which already exists in our database, and that column is unique type, that's why this one is going to generate an exception. That's why I've handled in the catch exception, and I've shown a message that username already exists. So this method is going to, sorry, this message box is going to have some name, so I'm going to name this one error, and this needs to have some button. So message box button dot OK, we need only one button, and message box icon needs to be dot error like this. That's it. Now what we have to do is we have to just start this and check if this one is working or not. So now just start this project and let's see if this works properly or not. So I've started the project. After this we have to enter username and the password is pass, sign in. Just click on this, select, I'm going to add new administrator and name is something, I'm going to name this one Gaurav, date of birth something 1995 July something, and email ID gaurav@gmail.com, username Gaurav, password Gaurav. Click on sign up, and here you can see this sign up is successful. Next thing what we have to do is let's check this in the database. So how to check? Let me just open this one, and here you can see this. Previously I have executed this query and we have only 3. So what I'm going to do is select this and click on star, and here we can see this, we have one more, that is the 4th one, administrator Gaurav, and 1234 Gaurav@gmail.com and Gaurav. So this one is working fine. Next thing what we have to do is we have to actually make this reset button functional, and as in the overview video I have shown you, when I write something username, here cross sign and tick the correct sign is available over here. So I'm going to do that, exactly that. Okay, so we have to make these two stuff functional for now. So log out and close this, move back to our coding, and here first thing what we have to do is make the reset button functional. So move back over here, double click on this, and this will generate a click event for that btn reset. And first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a method. So public void clear all, like this, and I'm going to clear everything. txt name dot clear, txt dob, and this is a datetime picker, so reset text. After this, txt mobile number dot clear. After this we have txt email dot clear. After email we have txt username dot clear. After username we have txt password dot clear, and txt user role. Okay, so user role dot selected index is equal to -1. We have to write like this, and what I have to do is I have to just call this method over here, so like this. Now let's check. Start this, and let's check for this reset button actually. So this one is hard coded. Click on this, select this one, write something like this one, and click on this, and here you can see this, everything is cleared and everything is functional. This button is functional. Next thing what we have to do is we have to check the username over here in the real time, and we have to make the changes over here. So first thing what we have to do is we have to add one picture box over here. So let me close this and move back to the GUI part, and we have to just drag and drop one picture box. Drag and drop over here like this, in the parallel to this one, like this. This one is picture box 1, and in the previous one I've actually missed one label over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy and paste it over here, and I have to just write something inside this one, and just let me change the back color, not the back color actually. I'm going to change the fore color to red. Okay, so we missed actually one label in the last video, so I'm adding that, and name for this one will be, okay, so start check user role once before sign up. And let me just decrease the font size. Just click on this one, select 10 oblique and hit OK, like this. Yeah, now what we have to do is we have to actually set the correct when this username is not available in the database, and select cross if that username is available in the database. Okay, so I hope I'm clear that select cross, it means that cross is visible inside this picture box when that username is available or already exists in our database, and right sign when the username is not available in the database. So first thing what we have to do is where we have to exactly code. So we have to just click on this username, click on this one events, and select this text change. Just double click on this, and this will generate a text change event. And here first thing what we have to do is we have to just write the query is equal to, and what query we have to fire is select star from table name. So table name is users, where username is equal to nothing but we have to fetch that username from that same text box, single quotes, double plus plus, double quotes and single, and txt username dot text, like this one, and we have to call the method. So data set ds is equal to fn dot get data, and we have to pass the query. So in the function class we have created one more, written one more method, that is get data, and this method is going to return a dataset objects, and to store that data we have to create a dataset object over dataset variable over here. So dataset ds, and whatever is being returned from database whenever we fire that query, this query is going to be stored inside this one. So how this exactly works? So what we have to do is we have to check if that username exists in the database, then only some data will be fetched from the database and this data ds will be filled. If that username doesn't exist in our database, then ds will be empty. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this. If ds is empty, then we can insert that username. That username is valid. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to just write if ds dot tables 0 dot rows dot count is equal to 0. It means that this dataset contains no value. If no value, then we have to set a picture to that picture box with the right sign. Okay, so let me do that. So picture box, that picture box name is picture box 1 because we have only one picture box. You can check like this. Click on this one, move over here, and you have to search for name. Here you can see this picture box 1. Okay, so here picture box 1 dot image location, and we have to just copy the location like this. Paste @ in the starting and explore where you have stored the images. So all images and icon link is already in the description. If you have not downloaded yet, then you have to just download that. And you have to just copy the path from here. Just copy this and see the tick name. So this one is yes.png. So move back over here and you have to just paste it like this one, and you have to just put a slash and the name is yes.png. If you have changed the name, you can write anything over there. Okay, so it's showing an error because I have added this @ on the wrong place. You have to just add like this, and now you can see this, every error is resolved. In the else condition, we have to set the wrong one, that is not available. So let me just copy this. Same, you have to copy the path we have placed on the same position, and you have to change the image name. So image name is no for that, no png. Here you can see this, where this one, here you can see this no. So let me move back over here, and here you can see there's the coding part for the setting image is done. So let me start this and let me check this one properly. Click on this, and btechdays already exists in our database. So when I write this when I write btechdays, here you can see this btechdays, the cross sign is visible over here, and when I delete any of the stuff, here you can see this, I have just added Gaurav. So when I write Gaurav, here you can see this cross sign is visible over here, and this one is a little bit cropped. So let me fix that. Move over here and let me just set the size like this, and select actually stretched image. Okay, it means that whenever the images, this will fit inside this one. Start this. Pass and sign in. Here you can see this now. Yeah, this one is good. This one is working fine, and the reset button is also working fine. So everything in this user control is working fine. In the next video, I'm actually going to show you how to code for this one, that is dashboard background, because now we have added the users, so now we can show the data over here, and with that data we can actually validate over here the data, the login page. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to validate this login page and the dashboard as well, backend coding for these two forms. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and just stay tuned, subscribe and share it to your friends, and follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching.